cast off a scarf with me. So I've been making this scarf all week with this super chunky loops and threads yarn. Thank you so much to my friend Laura for gifting me this yarn that she didn't want anymore. As soon as I saw it, I realized that I wanted something big, I wanted something chunky, and I wanted to make sure I used as much of the yarn as possible. So thanks to some recent events, cough cough wonderful precure, I've been thinking about a vertical scarf. This is something that is knit long ways rather than the usual thing of knitting from the bottom to the top. I was knitting it side to side, and this creates, of course, a different effect, especially if you're using a colorful yarn. It's going to give you those vertical stripes as well. This yarn is a single ply acrylic yarn, which does have some color, but it is primarily this cream mixed with some greens and reds, and it's a little muted, but I like that because it means it can go with a lot of my stuff, especially like my more autumnal clothes. So I really enjoyed knitting this scarf, and again, I wanted to make sure I use as much as possible. So if you ever want to make a scarf like this, the first thing that's very important is I did not count all the stitches that I used. I basically used this, I used these Clover Japanese size 15 needles, so that's 6.6 millimeters. And they are circular needles, so this is a very common way to knit very long things that are lengthwise, that are flat rather than in the round. And so I just basically cast on until I really couldn't feasibly cast on any more stitches. And if you're going to do something like this, keep in mind that the length of the stitches as they are cast on is not going to be the same as the stitches once they are actually knit. They're going to be longer. It's going to become a longer thing, so just keep that in mind if you do something like this. So again, I have to go back and count how many stitches I've got here. But yes, I had 2 skeins, and basically once I got through the second skein, what I did to make sure that I would have enough to cast off at the end is I weighed my yarn between rows, I should say, because it is being knit flat. And I just made sure to figure out exactly how much yarn was used weight-wise for each row, so that by the time that I had enough for at least one more row, that was when I knew I could cast off, which is what happened today. The video, of course, is being sped up. This was originally a 15-minute long video of me going through this entire thing, and I had a lot of fun just seeing, once you get to this point, the project will always get very bunched up when it's on the needles like this. So it's not until you cast off that you can actually see the full length of the scarf. I wasn't entirely sure if it was going to be long enough for a scarf at first when I was, originally casting it on. I had imagined that, I should have some yarn left at the end in case I want to actually stitch up the ends together to make it into a cowl. And you'll see at the end of this video that wasn't necessary, but it's still nice to have that option. So I do have a little bit of yarn left. You're going to see at the end of this video as well that I forgot to bring my scissors with me, so I couldn't pull through the yarn into the very last cast off. But of course I have done that since then, and I've also woven in the ends. As you will see right here is where actually you can see there the 2 bits of yarn where I joined the 2 skeins of yarn into the project. So I will have woven those in by the time you see this video. But yeah, it's not that much more to go. And as for what is left of the yarn, there isn't a whole lot left. So I will be doing a little bit of fringe on one end, at least, if not 2. I'll show you some final images in a later video. But yes, so that is how you will, if you would like to also knit a vertical scarf like myself, this is how you would do it. So I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I really like this little project. This was a fun week's worth of knitting.